Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Learn to Understand, and in today's video we are going to continue with the same chapter sets, and in this chapter we are going to work on the part 5. Now what are we going to do in part 5 is we're going to try certain questions that are based on equivalent sets or joint sets, disjoint sets, right? So let's begin with the questions. Okay, so now if you see in this question, they have asked us that are the sets A, that is 4 from 4 comma 5 comma 6, and B, that is x square minus 5x minus x is equal to 0, disjoint. So first of all we will solve the set B, because we know that what is given in set A, but we are not aware that what is given in set B. So if we talk about set B, then it is x square minus 5x minus 6 equal to 0. Write B here. So x square. Now it's middle term splitting. Product is minus 6. Minus xx plus x minus 6 equal to 0. X into x minus 6 plus 1 into x minus 6 equal to 0. Then x plus 1 into x minus 6 equal to 0. So x is equal to minus 1 or x is equal to 6. So the elements in set B are minus 1 comma 6. Now disjoint sets are those sets which have no element in common, means even a single element is not common in disjoint sets. Okay, but if we see the set A consists of 6 and the set B also consists of 6. So one element is common in between them, therefore they are not disjoint. No, these sets are not disjoint sets, right? Okay, so now if we see in this question, they are saying that the set A consists of B, C, D and E element, right? And the set B consists of letters in the word master. First, let us write the set B, right? So set B is M, A, S, T, E, R, right? So if we see what do we mean by the joint sets, first of all, the joint sets are those sets which have even only or a single element in common. See, 2 elements can also be common, 3 can also be common, 4 can also be common, and all the elements can also be common. But even if a single element is common between both the sets, then both of the sets are said to be joint sets. So if we see, the element E is common in both of the sets. So both of these sets are known as joint sets, right? Yes, these sets are joint because E is common in both of them. Okay. Now, if you carefully see in the question number 7, you have to tell. I write the questions, and you can see that there will be some sets, and you have to tell whether they are equivalent or not. First of all, I have not written any questions because I wanted to explain you the meaning of equivalent sets. Equivalent sets are those sets which have the same cardinality or they have the same cardinal number. Now, what do we mean by the same cardinal number? See, same cardinal number means the number of elements in both of the sets are same, right? For example, now when we'll see the sets that I'm going to write further, then we can conclude that which of them are equivalent or not, right? So if we observe the set, the first question, A is x such that x belongs to n, and n stands for natural numbers where 11 is greater than or equal to 2x minus 1. So first let's solve set A. 11 is greater than or equal to 2x minus 1, right? This is set A. So 2x minus 1, then 11, then 2x, then 12x greater than or equal to 6, right? So x is less than or equal to 6. Is it correct? No. See, this is a common mistake that many students do. See, it's on this side and it's on this side. So what do they do is they change the sides, but they don't change the signs. So that's very, very important for you all to understand that this is a very, very, very blunder mistake done by many students. That's why I deliberately do some mistakes so that I can explain you. And already, in fact, I answer you those mistakes. No, it's not that I don't tell you that these are the mistakes that are done. I tell you, right? So now 11, wait, and 2x minus 1. Okay, so first of all, if you want to change the sides, then you have to change the sign. But what I would prefer is this way, 12. Then I would like to make it this way, 2x. Now see, the sign is towards 12, so put the sign this way towards 12. X would be 6. X is greater than equal to 6. The natural numbers include x greater than equal to 6, right? Okay, now see, all the natural numbers that are greater than equal to 6 are going to come in this. Okay, now let's talk about the set y. In set y, you have whole numbers that are greater than equal to 3 but less than equal to 9. Okay, so if you see, in set A, you had unlimited numbers because you had natural numbers that are greater than equal to 6. But if you see in set B, you have a certain limit of numbers, right? These are 6 numbers, 6 to 7 numbers. So guys, you can conclude from here that the cardinality of A is not equal to the cardinality of B. This implies that they are not equivalent. They are not equivalent. Okay. Alright. See, if you're confused in this, when we do further examples, you can understand them from there. If you still have a doubt, please comment in the comment section below and ask your doubt so that I can answer that doubt to you all. Okay. Okay, now if you see in the second part, it is set of integers and set of natural numbers. If I talk about integers, so first let's write so that I can explain you properly. If I talk about integers, integers start from negative, then 0 comes and then they continue to the positives. But on the other hand, if I talk about the natural numbers, then they begin from 1 and they continue further. So do you think that the cardinality of these sets is same? No, because if you see, integers include negative as well and 0 as well. But if we talk about the natural numbers, they include only 1, means the only positive things. So thereby negative and 0 are not included. This implies that these sets are not equivalent. Not equivalent. Okay, so let's move on to the third example. So now if you guys see, in the third example, we've been given set of whole numbers and set of multiples of 3. Now if we talk about whole numbers start from 0 and 1, then continue further. Then if we talk about multiples of 3, now what are the multiples of 3? Right? If you see 0 into 3 gives you 0, 3 into 1 gives you 3, 3 into 2 gives you 6. So 0, 3, 6, 9 and so on. But if we see, the cardinality is not going to be the same because it is lacking 1, 2, 4, 5, right? 7, 8. So that is why these are not equivalent, right? These are not equivalent, right? I hope so this is clear to you. If in case of any doubts, please comment in the comment section below. Now let's move on to the fourth example. So now in the fourth example, we've been given with two sets, the set P and the set M. In the set P, we have 4 elements, and in the set M, we don't know that how many elements do we have. So if we talk about the set M, they have told us that X belongs to whole numbers, and whole numbers start from 0. And it also includes 4, except that X is less than equal to 4. So whole numbers that are less than equal to 4 are these. If we see the cardinality of these sets, the set P consists of 4 elements and the set M consists of 5 elements. The cardinality of set P is not equal to the cardinality of set M. This implies that they are not equivalent sets. Right? Now let's move on to the next question, question number 8. In this question, you have to tell whether the set A and the set B are equal or not. So if we talk about the set A consists of elements 2, 4, 6 and 8. And if we talk about set B, 2n such that n belongs to natural numbers and those natural numbers are less than 5. So if we talk about the first one, then 2 into 1 gives you 2. That's less than 5. Then 2 into 2 gives you 4. 2 into 3 gives you 6. 2 into 4 gives you 8. So ultimately the set B has 2, 4, 6 and 8 as its elements. Set A also has these elements and set B also has these elements. So this means that set A is equal to set B. Okay, because they have the same elements 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. So now let's consider another example. E is equal to x such that x square plus 8x minus 9 is equal to 0. So first let's solve the set A, that is x square plus 8x minus 9 equal to 0. So product is minus 9, sum is 8x, right? So x square plus 9x minus 9 is equal to 0. So x common out, x plus 9 minus 1 into x plus 9, that is equal to 0. Now x minus 1 into x plus 9 is equal to 0. So either x is equal to 1 or x is equal to minus 9, right? So now we have found out the values for set E that are 1 comma minus 9. So these are the values. So set E and set F are equal because both of them contain the same elements. Now, if we talk about the set of multiples of 8, what are the multiples of 8? 0 into 8, that is 0. 1 into 8, that is 8. 2 into 8, that is 16. 3 into 8, that is 24, and so on, right? So the multiples of 8 continue to grow up as much as there will be the numbers, and further these multiples are going to grow up. So this is an infinite set because the elements are unlimited. Okay, now let's move on to the second example. So now in the second part, we have to tell whether the set of integers that are less than 10 is an infinite set or a finite set. See, integers include negative numbers also. So please don't forget that. So negative, 0 and positive, all of them are included. Though positive are less than 10, but negative are still there, right? So negative are also unlimited. So if the negatives are unlimited, then the set would be known as the infinite set, right? Now let's move on to the third example. That is set of whole numbers that are less than 12. So what do we know by whole numbers? Whole numbers start from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So that means that it is a finite set because the elements are limited, right? The elements are limited, thereby it is a finite set, right? Let's move on to the last question of the today's video. It's last, but it's not the least question, because basically if they'll ask you a question for finite or infinite sets, they're surely going to ask you this type of a. Okay, so now if we talk about the last question, x such that x is equal to 3n minus 2, n belongs to whole number, but n is less than equal to 8. So first of all, what is the first whole number? That is 0. So when n is equal to 0, 3 into 0 minus 2 would give you 0 minus whatever would give you minus 2, right? Further 3 into 1 minus 2, it will give you 1, right? Then if your n is 2, then 3 into 2 minus 2 would give you 6 minus 2, that is 4. If your n is 3 now, then 3 into 3 minus 2, that will give you 9 minus 2, that will give you 7, right? So what did we get first of all? 0, sorry, minus 2, 4, 7, right? Now when 3 into 4 minus 2 will give you 12 minus 2, that is 10, right? Then 3 into 5 minus 2, that is 15 minus 2. What will that be? 13, right? So 13. Next is 3 into 6 minus 2, that is 12 minus 2, that is 10. Basically, 18 minus 2, that is 16. But basically, you don't need to find out all these. Don't worry, you're not going to find out all of these. Simple method is that if you see that it is limited up to a particular number and that particular number is also ending at a particular place, so you don't need to solve all of them. It's just for your clarification and solved, but don't solve all of them. If you see 5 to 6 are getting solved, then that's okay. But please check that whether it's ending up to a particular limit or not. So guys, this is the end of today's video. Part 6 will be coming soon, and in that we'll be discussing about a new topic of subsets, supersets, proper subsets and universal sets. So stay tuned, and if you think that the content in the video is good, then please like the video, and if you think that it is beneficial for others too, then please share the video, and if you have any doubts, then do comment in the section below. And please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon if you want to receive the notifications first. Thank you.